One of the more basic forms of security for your Android phone is going to be your screen locks. Now, if you're running an Android device past 5.0 and you're using a lock screen or password protected device, you're already running an encrypted phone. Those things go hand in hand since Android 5.0. The least secure out of this group is going to be the pattern unlock. The reason the pattern unlock is the least secure is because it is also the easiest to duplicate. A best practice for the pattern unlock is going to be make sure that you don't use it in a crowded area where someone can oversee your pattern for your phone. Use your fingerprint unlock instead. Lock screen security is normally set up when you first activate your phone. However, if you bypassed it for some reason or you need it to be set up again, here's how you do that. Go to your settings in Android, pull down your notification bar, and your settings should be the gear in the top right of your screen. You want to find your lock screen settings, and at the top, select Screen Lock Type, and set your screen lock to whatever you're most comfortable with. So you've secured and encrypted your phone. What's next? This next tip is a good place to continue. SIM card fraud is a growing issue with all carriers today. It's one that has started getting a lot of press in the last year. A SIM swap is when someone either physically removes the SIM from your phone and installs it into their own device, or they call your carrier and convince your carrier they need to move your phone number from your device to theirs. Now, there are ways to prevent both types of SIM card fraud. You can prevent the first example by setting up a SIM card lock. It locks down your SIM card so that if someone does take the SIM card out of your phone and inserts it into theirs, they need this PIN number in order to activate it. You go to Settings, Biometrics and Security, and other security settings. And at the top of the screen, you should have an option to set up your SIM card lock. The second type of fraud is much more difficult to prevent. Unfortunately, it requires your carrier to be vigilant in their own security practices. And you can't do a whole lot to make sure that they are vigilant, but what you can do is make it more difficult for someone to get into your account. Make sure that whatever carrier you have set up a PIN number that you and only you know, so that you are the only person able to make changes on your account. And that should, hopefully, prevent someone from getting into your account. This next tip will help you lock down your phone, and it's one that we have talked about before. Make sure you turn all of your wireless networks off when they're not in use. Bluetooth, NFC or near-field communication, and Wi-Fi are all forms of wireless communication that your phone uses throughout the day. When not in use, these can provide a doorway into your phone, and you'd probably be better off closing, locking, and throwing away the key to that door. Don't give someone the opportunity to step through. Turn them off if they're not in use. This next tip is a little bit more complicated, but definitely one that we've talked about before. For greater detail on this, go ahead and watch our Avoiding Malware on Your Smartphone blog, and that should explain a bit more about it. But the too long didn't read is install an antivirus onto your phone, but just make sure that whichever one you pick, it is from a reputable company. One of the questions that we get asked about a lot is public Wi-Fi. Is it safe and should I use it? And both questions are answered with probably not. Always assume that public Wi-Fi is not safe, but if you do find yourself in a position that you have to use it, the one thing that you can do to keep yourself protected is install a VPN. Pick the ones that rate the best, they have the best customer service, and the one that you feel has your best interests at heart. We've talked about two-factor authentication or multi-factor MFA authentication quite a bit throughout all the blogs that we've done, and your phone is no different. If you are using Google, then by all means, make sure that you are also using your two-factor authentication. Even though recently there have been some chinks in the armor, and there have been some methods to bypass MFA or multi-factor authentication, it is still the best way to secure your account.